So tell me about holidays. Do you remember how you celebrated Christmas, or what was the biggest holiday of the year?
Well, the biggest holiday there was the 4th of July. It seemed like it. Everybody liked that. If you had any money, you'd buy firecrackers, and the families get together and they would go somewhere where there was water, and all the kids could go swimming, you know, because it was warm. And the 4th of July, I always remember we celebrated more than Christmas, because Christmas, you know, sometimes you didn't have any money much, and 4th of July, the women always cooked up a lot of good stuff. The men, which all just about everybody had a cast net, could throw a cast net, and they caught mullet, and we would fry the mullet right down on the bay or the creek or wherever we decided to go on the trip, you know, that day for 4th of July.
Do you remember Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas? Anything that was memorable to you?
Well, Halloween, we never knew hardly what Halloween was till we got to go into school, you know, and then going to school, why then they had Halloween programs, you know, at school. But Christmas was if you had some money, it was fine. If you didn't, well, you just went to church and thanked the Lord for what you had.
Right. It's a good attitude to have all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
So describe the toys that you played with when you were a child.
Well, the most of the toys that worked the best in the sand, because there wasn't any lawns. Mostly it was just plain sand, you know, and things would work the best. We'd get these big bottles, glass bottles, and we'd call them our trucks, you know, and we could just drag them around the sand, and you know, and if you had little wheels on the truck, why then it would bog down in the sand, you know. But that's what we used mostly, is just big bottles. They had all kind of Sloan's liniment bottles and different things that we would use. And so my brother, he always had to have the biggest bottle because he was oldest, you know.
What kind of clothes did you wear as a kid? Do you recall? I mean, did you wear shorts and a t-shirt like kids do these days? And what kind of shoes? Do you got nice shoes on today? What kind of shoes did you wear?
Well, a lot of times we didn't have shoes. I went to school a lot of times and we didn't have shoes, but then Daddy would get a little extra money on Mother, and we'd usually buy school shoes, you know, but then a lot of times we didn't wear them. And even some of the girls, they went to school barefooted. We got pictures, you know, some of the classes I was in where were barefooted, girls and boys.
So didn't you get sand spurs in your feet?
Well, your feet was tough. They was used to sand spurs. You just picked them out. I remember one time we living up there at Palm Arbor, and we had some good friends, and they was kin to us in a way. But Marge Clare and Winterford Mann, and they'd come up to see us one time, and I'd always get out and get my feet full of sand spurs, and then the girls would all get them out for me, you know.
Charlie, so what kind of clothing did you wear as a child? Did you wear trousers, shorts?
Well,
what did you wear out to play in the daytime?
Mostly the shorts didn't come in. Mostly you had long pants, you know. But if you was real small, then you had the regular shorts. I remember one time my Uncle Stott was my birthday, and I think I was 3 or 4 years old, and he gave my mother $1 for birthday present. She said, well, I'm going to take it and buy you some 2 or 3 pair of shorts. I mean, things were cheap then, you know.
So where did your mother shop when she was shopping for you?
Mostly Sears Roebuck. Sears Roebuck had a big catalog, and that she'd order the stuff.
And they'd mail it to your home?
Yeah, right.
Right. Charlie, tell me a little bit about if you got sick. What kind of medicines did you use? What was kind of the cure-all medicine, or what did you use when you got a cold or whatever when you were a child?
Well, the best thing we had for cuts and bruises was kerosene oil. That would just about cure anything. Kerosene would. And then,
did you put it directly on your skin?
Yeah, directly on the skin, not not much of it, but it was, be surprised how kerosene killed germs. And of course there was all kind of Sloan's liniment. I don't guess you ever heard of that, but that's we used that, and then they just, I remember the regulator tea, we had that, and mother would give the children, you know. And then was all kind of different kind of bottled medicine, you know. They would come in glass bottles mostly. And there was Carter's little liver pills, I remember that.
And how about Vicks? Did you use Vicks,
Vicks
on your chest or around your nose or your forehead?
Yeah, I got two bottles of Vicks in there, jars of Vicks I have now. We still use that. We use that a lot.
Mm-hmm. And mustard plasters, did you ever use those?
Yeah, well, I've heard of them. I never had one.
Uh-huh.
But they used lots of things because of getting a doctor was a kind of a big deal, you know, because some of the doctors couldn't leave because some of them didn't even have cars, you know.
Right.
And then after they come to see you, you couldn't pay them because you didn't have any money.
Might have to give them a chicken or something to take home, a bag of oranges.
Had to do a little barter trade.
Right, right. Let's talk about the school for a minute then. So Curlew School was where you went to elementary school.
Right.
And that was grades, what, kindergarten through?
It was from first grade. We didn't have any kindergartens then. It was first grade through the fourth grade. Mm-hmm. And I never went to the second grade. It was.
Why didn't you go? That's a good story. Tell us why you didn't go into second grade.
Actually, the people lived across the street. She was principal of school, and she kind of taught her son, you know, and his name was Paul Jr., is a good friend of mine. And so she decided she was going to let him skip a grade, and I think she was a little bit ashamed to let him skip a grade, so, you know, just because he was her child. And so they said, well, how about we'll just let Charley skip the third grade, the second grade, and go on to the third grade. So that's what they did.
Well, I think you were pretty smart, but you probably think you rode Paul's coattails to get into third grade.
I really did, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the school. Was it a one-room school? Did you have a playground?
It was a nice bricks school, a two-story school, and they had the first and second grade was all together. Then the third and fourth grade was all together. Then we had a big wood stove in there. We had to get the wood, bringing the wood in of the morning if it's cold, you know. We kept wood in there anyway, and then we had the drinking fountains and the bathroom were all outside.
And did you have a playground?
Oh yeah, they had playground equipment. Mostly they had merry-go-round, and they had these jaunt rides. I don't know but they
describe what they are. Maybe
they were on a pole, and they had these chains that went down and had places on the handles, and then you got to run around there, and then if you wanted somebody to go up real high, you let them wind up on that thing, and then you'd turn that thing around fast, and then the kids would go right out in space almost. And so it was really, really dangerous, and they didn't have, because there was iron handles and everything, and I remember one of my friends, in fact, he's a cousin of mine, distant cousin, we got him on that thing one time, and man, it like just scared him to death. He cried the rest of the day because he was afraid that thing was going to throw him off, because he would run around and it would almost get straight out. You've seen those, they call them jaunt rides.
Yeah, we used to call them maypoles in Michigan, but it was the same idea. It had a metal handle.
And it had these little iron handles on them, and man, if those hit you in the head, you were done for.
Yeah.